ESPN released the top 25 players in men's professional football of the 21st century. So since 2000, who they consider to be the 25 best men's football players. Oh my God, was there a lot of controversy. Everybody has something to say about it. Everybody is ripping it to pieces. And to be fair, right, ESPN has a track record of this. Their lists are, I feel, almost made sometimes to just infuriate the masses. And it appears that this one has done exactly that. But I thought, why not just react to it for you guys on stream here? Let's get into this though. Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, and Neymar are just some of the names who came up in the debates over the best soccer players in the 21st century. Then there are upcoming stars such as Kylian Mbappe and players of a different era such as Ronaldinho. Where do they stand? The conversation can be a never-ending one. How do you rank legends of the game? Some of the best we've ever seen against each other. It was no easy feat, that's for sure, and disagreements will surely follow. But after collating together thousands of votes, so is this a votes thing from thousands of people? We present to you our ranking of the best 20 male soccer players, football players of the 21st century, and 5 others who just missed the list. I thought this was kind of like curated by their experts. Why am I now hearing that it was made by thousands of voters? That changes a lot of things now. Are ESPN trying to take away responsibility from this list, chat? I have to say, number 1, it's not a bad start. I do agree with their number 1. Lionel Messi. 10-time La Liga champion, 7-time Copa del Rey winner, 4-time Champions League winner, 6-time Champions League top scorer, 17-time FIFA 5th Pro World 11, World Cup winner, 2-time Copa America winner, 2-time FIFA World Cup Golden Ball winner, 8-time Ballon d'Or winner, a record goal scorer for Barcelona with 672 goals, and the all-time top goal scorer for Argentina with 109. That's some resume. That's the greatest resume in football. And for me, the greatest player of all time. I don't even know if we have to spend too much time here. I think most people would agree that Messi is, if he's not the greatest of all time, which at this point I feel like that's becoming a rapidly increasing consensus opinion. If you even though, but whatever, if you got your Maradona, you got your Pele, your Johan Cruyff, you're an old head, fair enough. But 21st century, 2000 onwards, can you even dare say anybody has been better than Messi? I mean, maybe some people will say the guy who's probably second on this list. So yeah, I don't think you can have much argument here. Lionel Messi, ESPN has them as the number 1 player of the 21st century, and I'm in ultimate agreement with them. Now, number 2, I'm also in agreement with them. Cristiano Ronaldo is second on their list. 5-time Ballon d'Or winner, 5-time Champions League winner, 3-time Premier League winner, 2-time La Liga winner, 2-time Serie A winner, and the record for the most men's international goals with 130. I think statistically as well too, he might have the most goals in club football history. I think he might. But regardless, again, not much argument from me on this one, chat. Ronaldo is, for many people, the second greatest player of all time. So 21st century, this is a no-brainer in my opinion. I think Messi, in my opinion, I've always said is pretty clear number 1. But Ronaldo has to be second, especially in the 21st century. What he's done, the records he's broken, the domination of Champions League football. The one thing for me with Ronaldo, I always find it interesting is the fact he only won 2 La Ligas. He was there for a decade at Real Madrid, right? Basically 9 years. 2 La Ligas is always one that kind of spins me, especially the success they've had since he kind of left. Not saying that's down to him, but that's always something that I've always found a bit peculiar. So, Ronaldo, I'm okay with him being at second. I've already seen who's at number 3. Thierry Henry is who these guys have as the 3rd greatest player 2000 onwards. Now, let me be very careful because, as you guys know, me and Thierry, we go way back. Obviously, that's my guy. If you guys didn't know that, I interviewed him, sat down with him. We chopped it up. We talked about Hazard. We talked about football. That's my guy. 3rd greatest player of the 21st century, though. I don't know about that. The FIFA World Cup winner. Well, does that really count, chat? Because this is 2000 onwards. So 1998 shouldn't even come into effect. I'm not even going to read that. UEFA European Championship winner. Okay, that one you give him. 2-time Premier League winner, yeah. La Liga winner, 2-time FA Cup winner, Champions League winner, Ligue 1 winner. Ligue 1 winner, you can't give him that one either. Copa del Rey winner, and Club World Cup winner. So this is kind of what we can give Henry, right? He's the greatest player for me in Premier League history. I think so. That has to weigh a lot because 2000 onwards, the Premier League, you could argue it's been the biggest league in world football. Maybe the 2010s was kind of dominated more by La Liga, but for when he was in the league, that was, in my opinion, the best league or up there. One of the best leagues you could probably say Serie A those days was pretty tough too. But he's the best player in one of the biggest leagues in Europe. So that weighs heavy for him. But the big issue I have with Henry here is his international career, which I've always thought Henry massively underachieved for France. I know he's their top scorer. I know he actually has 2 trophies for them. But I never, ever in my life thought that Henry was able to successfully translate the form and the class that he showed for Arsenal at the international level. And I always thought, and he would tell you himself, We all know the quote I'm talking about. Zidane was the superior player for that French national team. That team went in the direction that Zidane took it, not the direction that Henry took it. And even once Zidane left the national team on 2 separate occasions in the 2000s, the team was left in Henry's hands and he failed twice. 3 times even if you want to count Euro 2008. So for that being said, I have a tough time ranking Henry over a guy like Zidane, who is actually next on this list. And granted, Zidane, a lot of his prime was before 2000, so that weighs against him. But I never in my life have thought that Henry was the better player than Zidane. So to put him above him in this list, I strongly disagree with. And then other guys too, man. Neymar hasn't appeared on this list yet. Is Henry a greater player than Neymar? I'm not sure about that. Henry ranks high though. Henry is definitely high. For me, top 5, I think you can make the argument he's a top 5 player of the 21st century. Third though, only after. So we're basically saying since 2000, if you take away Ronaldo and Messi, Henry is the greatest player post 2000. Another thing too, the lack of success in European football. Obviously, he won that Champions League with Barca, which fair play to him. But before that, I don't know, man. But that's Henry. And I got love for Henry. I love the guy. For me, the best player in Premier League history. Class act. The favorite interview I've ever done in my life. But I don't know about that. Zidane in fourth. Now, Zidane is a tough one to rank. And there's going to be a few guys on this list. Oh my God. I already saw something I didn't like. Chat I didn't like. Let me try and stay focused. Wow. I already saw something I didn't like. Okay, so Zidane at fourth. Zidane is a tough one, chat, because first of all, he's only got 6 years in this decade, or in this century. He's only got 6 years. And a lot of his best individual years as a player came before 2000. Obviously the 98 World Cup, but also the brilliant form that he showed for Juve, the Ballon d'Or that he won for Juve in the 90s. That all comes before this century. So you can't really take it into account when you make a tier list of the 21st century players. So that weighs against him. But also Zidane has certain tournaments and certain accomplishments in the 21st century that make him impossible to rank him outside of the top 10, in my opinion. And then in the top 10, that's where it starts to get techie, but he has to be in the top 10. Like FIFA World Cup winner, that can't be taken into account. That's 98. UEFA European Championship winner, the Euros. 2000 for me is one of, if not the greatest individual tournament by a player at a European Championship, in my opinion, in history. It's that good. It's that up there. Just please, if you guys have the chance, we can even watch it on the stream one of these days. Take a look at the performances and you will be left with your jaw on the floor. The guy was running games for France at that Euro. 2-time Serie A winner. Again, that basically comes, for the most part, before 2000. I don't think he won a Serie A in the 21st century, did he? Yeah, everything came before 2000. So that can't really be taken into account. Champions League winner, yeah, that's in 2002. La Liga winner, that's post-2000. Ballon d'Or winner, that I believe came in the 90s, so can't count that. 98, of course. And then the Intercontinental Cup winner. So he's got the 2006 World Cup, which for me is iconic. The 2000 Euros, which for me is the greatest tournament he ever played in. He won the Champions League, played a big role in that, has maybe the best goal in a final ever, in a Champions League final, that is. The impact, the influence, all that good stuff. Just how brilliant a player Zidane is. He has to be top 10 in 21st century. But fourth, has he done more in those 6 years than guys who have played 10, 15 years in the 21st century? It's unlucky for him because of like the guidelines and kind of like the starting point, ending point of all of this. But it's also the way that this list has to kind of be viewed at, right? Like, for him to be fourth, where most of his prime years weren't in the century. Again, I think they might have got this one wrong. For me, I always thought he was better than Henry. And especially when they played for France, he was clearly the alpha, the top dog in that team. So I would have him above Henry. But also, if we're being honest, Henry probably had more consistent and better actual club seasons, 38-game seasons, than Zidane did in the 2000s. But the knockout football weighs very highly in Zidane's favor. I don't know about this one, chat. I don't know about this one. I'm not too mad at it just because of how brilliant a player Zidane is. Like, in terms of talent, yes, he's one of the top 5 players of the 21st century. But in terms of accomplishments, body of work, what you did it, how long you did it for, I don't know. But also, you guys know how I operate, chat. I value Prime very highly, which is why I don't have a huge issue of Zidane being here. But I still think he might be a bit fortunate here. Next up, this is the first issue of this list. Luka Modric. 5th. Nah, you guys lost me. Modric is in no way, shape, or form the 5th best player of the 21st century. That, in my opinion, is impossible. I don't know how you could even argue that. Like, has he played for a very long time and his consistency has been very admirable? And is he a brilliant player? Yes. His importance to some of the best teams of this 21st century cannot be sniffed at. You can't doubt it. But to put Luka Modric at fifth, I think this is Real Madrid bias here. I think this is winning bias. Luka Modric at fifth is too high. For me, it's too high. Ballon d'Or winner, 6-time Champions League winner, 4-time La Liga winner, World Cup finalist, Croatia's most capped player, joint most trophies, one of Real Madrid. He's top 10 for me, but he's closer to 10 than he is the fifth. Like, is Modric the fifth best player? Not the fifth most accomplished, not the fifth longest tenured player. Is he the fifth best player of the 21st century? Nah, not for me. Not for me. Already, there's two midfielders that, in my eyes, and it's just my opinion, but in my eyes, have to be over Modric. The two Barcelona boys, Xavi and Iniesta. There is a zero doubt in my mind that they were better players than Modric. They might not have won as many Champions Leagues. They might not have played till 37. But in terms of who was a better player and who had more impact to their team, I find it very hard to argue that Luka Modric can be above Iniesta or Xavi. For me, that's not even up for discussion in my eyes. And I don't want to be too harsh on Modric because I really like him. I think he's an all-timer. I think he sits at the table one of midfielders in my eyes. But putting him at fifth, that's the first red flag I have with this list. Everything else, Henry, Zidane, they're brilliant I mean, this guy's an all-timer too. Don't get it twisted. But I can excuse them being in the top 5, top 6. Modric, no. Modric, no. There are better players than Luka Modric since 2000. There just simply are. There's not players who have played as long as him. They might not have won as much as he did for Real Madrid. And I know, trust me, I value winning a lot. But also, what is this entire list going to be Real Madrid players? Should I see Sergio Ramos on this list next? Maybe Toni Kroos after him. Let's be real here. I don't know. I got Xavi and Iniesta over Luka Modric. Fifth is too high for me. Sixth. I got half a mind to lock this whole list off, bro. ESPN, right? You guys are slick because you disguise this whole thing based on what the ESPN experts have decided together are the top 25. Who the hell are these damn experts? Put them to the stand right now, one by one by one. Make them stand in front of a court and make them state and plead their innocence. The fact that you have disguised them. Oh, Iniesta's below him. Oh my God. The fact that you have allowed these experts to basically sit behind a wall of anonymity and be able to protect all of their integrity, all of their sporting and footballing integrity by making a list this shambolic already is sacrilegious. It's a crime. It's a crime against journalism. Who are these experts? Please, God, don't let them be people I respect and value their opinions of quite highly. Because I know some of the ESPN journalists, the likes of Gab Marcotti, the likes of Sid Lowe, the likes of Julien Laurent, all distinguished, excellent, top of their field footballing journalists. I got love for all of them. But please don't tell me that they were responsible for this list. My heart will be broken. This is an absolute disgrace. Kylian Mbappe at 6th. I feel like I'm being like fooled right now, guys. I feel like I'm being like pranked. Like, is there like a camera looking at me saying, haha, this ain't the real list. Haha, we got you. Did El Faze make this list? Is El Faze the expert? Did El Faze just take a job of ESPN to have Modric at 5th and Kylian Mbappe at 6th? Who's 7th? Casillas. Oh, nah, chat. Fun's over. Nah. I'm not having fun anymore. I'm just expecting to see Pogba 8th. Kylian Mbappe is the 6th greatest player of the 21st century. Better than Iniesta. Better than Xavi. Better than Neymar. That's it. Mbappe. So we're basically saying right now, chat, if Mbappe retired tomorrow, he never plays a game for Real Madrid. He never plays another game for France. He retires as a greater player than Xavi, Iniesta, and Neymar. Luis Suarez. Players that we haven't even touched on yet. That's it. He doesn't need to do anything else. He retires and he's already better than all of them. Is that what we're saying here? That's basically what this list is saying. For Mbappe to be 6th, that's basically saying he never has to play another game again and he's already considered a greater player than Xavi, Iniesta, Neymar, Suarez. R9, Ronaldinho. We're basically saying Mbappe has already surpassed all of them. He retires tomorrow. He doesn't have to kick another ball again. He's greater than all of them. What? Actually, deep what I'm saying here, right? Like, it looks crazy, but understand what I'm saying here. ESPN have just stated that Mbappe could retire tomorrow and he's the 6th greatest player of the modern game. That's incredible. Incredible is me being kind, right? Incredible is me really being at a loss for words. I usually rate my vernacular at a much higher level than just using words like incredible or amazing. But that's how stunned I am at the moment. The good people of ESPN, you guys need to reveal who these journalists are. Because I'm sorry, it's a sporting crime that somebody can hide behind anonymity and post a list as horrible as this. They must be going by potential for Mbappe. Why is Lamine Yamal? 7 should be Lamine Yamal then, right? 8, might as well throw Endrick in there, right? Does Iniesta have a World Cup final hat-trick? No one on this list has a World Cup final hat-trick. Why don't we just put Mbappe first then? Is that the criteria for being one of the... Jeff Hurst, right? That's his name, right? Jeff Hurst. He's the one who scored a hat-trick for England in 66, right? Yeah, Jeff Hurst. He's a top 10 footballer of all time. That's it, chat. All you got to do is score a hat trick in the World Cup. Mbappe is brilliant. For me, probably the best player in the world for the last few seasons. But let's be real, it's also in a weaker pool than a lot of these guys are playing in. He isn't competing for the crown with Ronaldinho or Henry or R9. He's not competing for the crown with Neymar or Suarez or Iniesta or Xavi or Cristiano. His competition for best player in the world is a defensive midfielder, Vinicius, and who? Bellingham? That's the competition for best player in the world. I love Mbappe. I think he's brilliant. I think he's going to do big things at Madrid. And he's already done big things in his career. But to say that Mbappe already, that's it. He's already greater than all-timers, players that have put in serious mileage, serious work, serious credentials at every facet of the game. And he's already eclipsed them because of supreme catalog of performances at World Cups. Nah, this is a bad list. This is a really, really bad list. I don't know what's worse, Modric at 5th or Mbappe at 6th. What's his key accomplishments? World Cup winner, 7-time Ligue 1 winner, 4-time French Cup winner. That's enough to be the 6th greatest player of the 21st century. That's it. I don't want to downplay the World Cup here, and I know he made a final where he scored a hat trick. So let me be very clear. I'm not downplaying the World Cup here. But if we erase this World Cup winner, and again, let me be very clear, I'm not downplaying it. But if he doesn't have that World Cup win, his resume is 7-time Ligue 1 winner, 4-time French Cup winner. And that's enough to say that he's a greater footballer all time than R9, Ronaldinho, Xavi, Iniesta, Neymar, Suarez. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's be real here. This is an awful take. This is an awful take. Mbappe would be fortunate cracking my top 10 of the 21st century. Genuinely, I might fit him in at 10th. To already have him at 6th. What? And I feel like I'm hating on him here, man. Mbappe has an elite World Cups, or 2 elite World Cups, and a third. First of all, Mbappe's first World Cup is not elite. It's elite given the context that he was a teenager. But in the grand scope of just putting his World Cup performance, without considering his age, against other World Cups, that's not an elite World Cup, guys. Right? Let's be real here. Mbappe's 2018 World Cup is not an elite World Cup. It's elite because he was a youngster. But we're not taking how old he was into account when we're comparing him with other players. His 2018 World Cup is not elite when you compare it to most. If you compare it to most 18-year-olds, it's an elite campaign. But it's not an elite campaign compared to every World Cup campaign ever. And by the way, having an elite World Cup, right? A lot of players have had elite World Cups. Again, not downplaying what Mbappe did in 2022. But a lot of players have had elite World Cups. Diego Forlan should be on this list, chat. Let me tell you why. Diego Forlan in 2010, I think, was one of the top scorers. I think he just missed out to Muller. Incredible tournament. Player of the tournament. Diego Forlan won European Golden Shoe winner. He had the most goals in Europe twice in the 21st century. He won the Europa League with Atletico Madrid. He won the league with Manchester United. Went to the semifinals of Villarreal of the Champions League. That sounds like a pretty... Won a Copa America with Uruguay and was the best player at a World Cup. Should Diego Forlan be on the top 25 players post-2020 or post-2000? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Mbappe should be on this list. He's a greater player. He's a better player than Forlan was. But are we getting to a point now where we're putting too much stock in the World Cup? They've effectively just told me now, if he retires today, he's already a top 6 player of the 2000s. That's it. 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. That's it. Nah, man. Number 7 is Iniesta. Iniesta should be higher than Modric in my opinion, but that's not even as controversial as putting Mbappe over Iniesta. Putting Mbappe over Iniesta. What? It's okay, Lyes. It's just the list. It can't hurt you. I want to tell myself that as well too, but this is hurting me right now, chat. This is hurting me. This is really hurting me right now. Iniesta is at 7th. Should be much higher. World Cup winner, 2-time European Championship winner, 4-time Champions League winner, 9-time La Liga winner, Ballon d'Or runner-up. He came 2nd in the Ballon d'Or. I think people forget that. Iniesta was 2nd in the Ballon d'Or to Messi in 2010, right? That's incredible. Iniesta was Messi away from winning a Ballon d'Or. One of, I believe, only 2 players. No, I think he is the only player ever, because I think the 2000 Euros, I think Totti actually won Man of the Match in it. Iniesta, I believe, is the only player, chat, ever to win Man of the Match in a Euro final, a World Cup final, a Champions League final. His influence in the biggest matches is unquestionable. He has his fingerprints on 2 of the greatest club sides. And actually, no, forget about it. His fingerprints are all over, on this list, the best club of the 2000s, of 2000 onwards, Barcelona. His fingerprints are all over the best club side. And his fingerprints are all over the best international side of the 21st century. So, in this criteria, 21st century, the best club side, in my opinion, is that Barca team between 2008 and 2012. His fingerprints are all over it. One of the top 3 players on that team. And then the best international side of the 21st century, his fingerprints are all over that too. And yet, he's 7th on this list. I'm stunned, man. Too low for me. 8 is Xavi, also too low for me. I never have an issue kind of putting Xavi first, Iniesta second, or vice versa. Like I said on SDS a few weeks ago, for me, the two are synonymous. When I watched them, it was never a question of one's much better than the other or vice versa, which I'm starting to see is like this growing consensus that one was always way better than the other. I can assure you, I lived through that era and I watched them every single week for over a decade. It was never a case of one was clear of the other. We used to say Xavi and Iniesta, Iniesta and Xavi. You can't separate the two of them. Xaviesta. They were 6 and 8 for club. They switched for international football. They're on the same level. They're brilliant players. Again, I have them both over Modric. Xavi has basically the same accomplishments as Iniesta, -1 La Liga winner because he obviously left earlier. His influence on those early Barca teams and those early Spain teams, you might actually be able to argue was greater than Iniesta. Like that 08-09 Barca team, Xavi was the guy in midfield for me. That Spain 2010 team, he was the guy for me, even though I think Iniesta in 12 was better. But again, both should be over Mbappe, and both, in my opinion, should be over Modric. Incredible players, man. Whether you think Iniesta was better or Xavi was better, I don't have an issue with it, honestly. For me, they're both the two best pure number 8 midfielders I've seen in my life. So at that point, for me, it just becomes preference. But we're approaching top 10 right now. That's number 8. Chat, I'm very scared to see who's number 9 right now. I'm almost petrified. Okay, number 9 is R9. This, again, it's another tough one to rank, chat, honestly, because, again, if the criteria is 2000 onwards, R9's, it's tough, right? Because he has the 2002 World Cup, the redemption year. But then after that, right, he scored a lot of goals for Real. Not like an unfathomable amount, by the way, right? It wasn't like he was putting up CR7 or Messi numbers at Madrid. He was good at Madrid, but I think his best years were before 2000, in my opinion. In my opinion, R9's best years were before 2000. And I know he has a 2002 World Cup, won a league title, I think, for Real Madrid. I don't know. This stuff is tough for me, chat. Number 9 for R9. First of all, let me say this right now. In the 2000s, I can do these together. Ronaldo Nazario was not a greater player in the 2000s than Ronaldinho was. I don't think so. The 2010s the 2000s, excuse me, were, in my opinion, headlined by 2 players at club level. Ronaldinho and Henry, for me, the 2000s belonged to them for the most part. Obviously, the latter years, it was CR7 and Messi. Kaká had one. But for the most part, the 2000s were at club level, Dino and Henry for me. I don't know if R9's 2002 World Cup is enough to put him over what Ronaldinho did for Barcelona. And let's be real, too. Dino had a pretty good Brazilian career as well, too. Copa America, the World Cup in 2002. He wasn't as good as R9, but he was still a big player for them. I think Dino's 21st century is greater than R9's. I think so. I'd argue this is too high. How do you use the longevity argument for Modric, but then have R9 and they're absent after 2006? And here's the thing too, Raf. Even like 2006, like R9 never really stopped scoring goals, but he slowed down as a player. 2006, R9, like you would see the decline was already there, bro. 2005, the decline was already starting. He wasn't anymore the undisputed best striker in the world anymore. So with all due respect to R9, I don't think he should be above Ronaldinho. And I'm thinking of players that have been left out. Chat, I've just noticed Suarez is not on this list yet, and Neymar is not on this list of that. Those are 2 players for me that are undoubtedly greater 21st century players than R9. Not all time, because what R9 did in the 90s, the guy was a phenomenon. No pun intended. But 21st century onwards, there are guys with better 21st centuries than R9. R9 should not be 9th. And the fact that Neymar is not in the top 10 is very disappointing. It's unsurprising, but it's very disappointing. For me, Neymar, I'm expecting to see him at 11th because that whole thing between him and Dino, I don't have a strong opinion on who I think is better. I have my opinion, but it's not so strong that like I'm going to put my entire, not rep on the line, but like say it as it is. I think they're very close. But Neymar should be right behind Dino. 12th maximum. Ronaldinho, if you guys want to know my opinions on Ronaldinho, I think he has one of the greatest peaks of all time, especially in the 21st century. Changed Barcelona completely with his transfer in 2003. World Cup winner, Ballon d'Or winner, Copa America winner, 2-time FIFA World Player of the Year, 2-time La Liga winner. The prime is unquestionable, man. His prime is top 5 on this entire list. Okay, let's see 11th. For me, 11th should be Neymar. If Dino's at 10th, Neymar should be no lower than 11th. Zlatan. Zlatan's not better than Neymar for me. I love Zlatan, and I'm happy to actually see him ranked this highly. But this is where their ranking starts not making sense. Because I saw somebody just say here, chat, maybe they value World Cup very, very highly. And I know Zlatan played for Sweden, but Zlatan's international career is close to zilch. His club career is sensational. And I think Zlatan is one of those players whose career is starting to age poorly in the eyes of new fans because he never won the Champions League. He never won international football. He played at PSG. But Zlatan, for me, has the longevity. And in that longevity, he was consistently, for me, a top 3 to 5 striker at all times. At one point, for me, he was the best striker in the world. Actually, on numerous occasions, he was the best striker in the world. So I don't have an issue with Zlatan being this high. I don't think he's better than Neymar. And I don't think he's better than Suarez either. For me, Zlatan should be in and around the likes of Benzema, the likes of Rooney, the likes of Eto'o. These are like the best strikers of that era. Zlatan should not be above Neymar for me. He shouldn't be one below Ronaldinho. He shouldn't be above Suarez in my opinion either. When was Zlatan the best striker in the world? I think you could argue in 2008 he was the best striker in the world. Or sorry, 08, 09, I think he was the best striker in the world. I think that 1 year at PSG he had was absolutely crazy. I think those early Milan years, I think you could definitely make you a case that he was in those conversations, even though I really liked Van Persie. I don't think Aguero was better than Zlatan. No chance. Not for me. I don't think Aguero was better than Zlatan. Better than Lewa? I would take Zlatan over Lewandowski. I would. But I'm not going to say that if you take Lewandowski, it's a crime. For me, that's the level. You're talking Lewandowski, you're talking Suarez, you're talking Benzema, you're talking Rooney, Eto'o maybe. Like for me, that's the level of striker in that kind of stratosphere. Zlatan, we can watch comps of him. Early Zlatan, I think people also forget how much of an athletic beast Zlatan used to be, man. In terms of the speed, explosiveness, the trickery. Zlatan's one of the most unique and complete strikers the game has ever seen. Dominated every single league he was at. Scored goals everywhere he went. For all the talk about lack of Champions Leagues, Zlatan has won everywhere he's gone domestically. Everywhere. So I'm never going to be mad at Zlatan being this high, but already I'm growing more and more annoyed that Neymar hasn't showed up yet. He should be 12th. But let's see who they got 12th. Yeah, you see, chat, this is no fun. This is no fun anymore. Honestly, this is no fun. Kevin De Bruyne at 12th. Ah, man. What's this based on? 3-time league player of the season, twice in the Premier League, once in the Bundesliga, Champions League winner, 6-time Premier League champion, 7-time FA Cup or EFL Cup champion. Look, honestly, it's not as crazy. Nah, it kind of is. It kind of is. I think De Bruyne is a little high. And I really like De Bruyne. But De Bruyne is not a better player than Neymar. This is a little too high, man. This is a little too high. He's top 20, but I kind of hear what you guys are saying. He's probably closer to 15 or even 20 than he is to top 10. Like, De Bruyne is 2 spots off Ronaldinho. That's too high for me. That's too high for me. He's not a better player than him, man. Yeah, this is too high. I think that's my issue. I think De Bruyne has been a brilliant player. He's maybe the best... Call him midfielder number 10 that we've seen in the Prem. But 12th, there's no way he should be above Neymar. And I keep saying it. Where is Neymar? Where is Neymar on this list, bro? I could make a case for him being the best Prem player of all time once he retires. Absolutely not. And that's another thing. How is Kevin De Bruyne over Wayne Rooney? If you need to factor achievements, not only just talent. De Bruyne is not the most accomplished player on this list, bro. De Bruyne does not have a trophy cabinet that nobody else can touch. I rate De Bruyne. I'm a big De Bruyne fan. They can attack me all you want, guys. I'm here to give my opinions. If you don't agree, so be it. We're here to discuss. KDB is over Rooney. What? Let's not do this, please. Why is KDB over Rooney? Why? First of all, why are you so dismissive above that? What's your reasoning for De Bruyne being over Rooney? I don't understand that one. Why do I have Rooney over KDB in the first place? My whole thing is this is the kind of conversation that you should be in. First of all, I think Rooney was better. I actually think Rooney, if you really want to talk about greatest Premier League player of all time, I put Henry above him because I just think Henry was the better player. But in terms of accomplishments, in terms of longevity, in terms of records, in terms of importance to your team, what doesn't Rooney have in the Premier League? Won it 3 times in a row. I know De Bruyne won it 4, but let's be real. De Bruyne's influence in all those City teams, was it as big as Rooney's influence in all the Premier Leagues that he won? Debatable. The amount of roles that Rooney played, how long he did it for. Look, this is not to hate on Kevin De Bruyne here. For me, I actually think that these guys are in and around the same kind of area on this kind of list. Both of them won the Champions League. Both of them have done brilliant things. Both of them have marked the Premier League in their own ways. Both of them are in the history books. De Bruyne, I think, is behind only Giggs when it comes to all-time assists. Rooney is the only player in Premier League history to have over 100 assists and over 200 Premier League goals. But to say De Bruyne is easily over Wayne Rooney, why? I don't understand that one, man. Not 12th for me. And one thing is for sure, Rooney, this is conversations you can put him in. Not Neymar. Nowhere near Neymar. Where is Neymar on this list? Where is Neymar on this list? Where is Suarez on this list? Toni Kroos at 13th. He's not above Suarez or Neymar for me, man. I'm sorry. This is like I get it. He's a great player. Kroos is an all-timer. I wouldn't have Kroos over Pirlo personally, but I can hear him being above him as well too. That's just my opinion. But these for me are negotiable ones. Like Pirlo, Kroos, that's down to opinion. That's down to what you like. I like Pirlo. You like Kroos. I can hear Kroos being over Pirlo. Not for me. I'm sorry. Like, Suarez and Neymar is a different category, man. That's a different kettle of fish to Toni Kroos, man. That's a different kettle of fish to these guys. Nah. Kroos at 13. I'm just waiting not to see Suarez and Neymar. I don't want this to take up the whole list, but where the hell are they? Ramos 14th. No. No, Chad, this is where we're getting ridiculous. Ramos at 14th is not better than Neymar, man. He's not better than Suarez. Like, this is an acceptable place for Ramos to be. He's one of the 15 best players of the last 20 years. I hear it. I mean, even that, maybe. Like, okay, that's not the worst thing in the world. But Neymar and Suarez should have appeared on this list already. Or are they not the greatest front three we've seen? Is it only the greatest front three we've seen because Messi was that elite and he was carrying these guys? Where are Suarez and Neymar? Ramos, though, maybe one of the best center backs of the 21st century. I wouldn't have a problem saying the best. Maybe not for me, but again, I don't have an issue with that. This I have an issue with. This is nonsense. This chat is where the list now, it loses all its credibility. I mean, it lost its credibility a minute ago. Trust me, it lost its credibility about an hour ago. Now, this list is a farce. This list is a sham. This list is one of the worst I've ever seen in my life. Carlos Puyol is the 15th greatest player of the 21st century. Go to hell. Go to hell. How about that? Whoever made this list, go to hell. I was trying to be courteous. I was trying to give respect to my peers. Nah. Whoever made this list, you are out of your goddamn mind. You're out of your mind. It's as simple as that. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind, bro. Puyol is the 15th greatest player of all time. Puyol is the greatest player, 15th player of the 21st. I can't even. My words are not. They're not lining up. They're not creating sentences anymore. I've lost my mind. Carlos Puyol. I don't know if Puyol would make my top 50 players of the 21st century. What the hell is going on here? Puyol put his face where most would be afraid to put their foot. Jesus Christ. Puyol oh my God. How is Puyol 15th? Honestly, Chad, this isn't even about Neymar Suarez anymore. There's about 10 defenders that should be on this list above Puyol. There's about 10 of them. Puyol wasn't better than John Terry. That's the first one. Wasn't better than John Terry. Especially in the 2000s, wasn't better than John Terry, wasn't better than Nesta, wasn't better than Rio Ferdinand. In my opinion, wasn't even better than Gerard Piqué. I think Gerard Piqué was actually the better one of the two in that partnership. Puyol, forget about Neymar Suarez now. It's not even the Neymar Suarez thing. We're talking purely defenders. Puyol is not the second greatest defender of the 21st century. That's bullshit. Excuse my language, excuse my French, but that's bullshit. We've lost any semblance of logic anymore now. Benzema 16th. I'm not mad at the ranking. I'm not mad at Benzema being 16th. It's who he's in front of and who's he behind of. That doesn't even make sense. It's not the ranking that's the issue here. It's where everybody else is in relation to Benzema. Yo, I can't get over Puyol being 15th and Neymar's not on this list yet. I can't get over that. Chat, I'm gonna say it. What are we doing here? Again, it's not the issue about where Benzema is. It's where everybody else is. Benzema has one of the best individual years of this entire list. The most assists in Real Madrid history. The third most goals in Real Madrid history. The fourth top scorer in Champions League. 5 Champions Leagues or 4. Numerous league titles. Benzema's a brilliant player. But he's ahead of guys that haven't been mentioned yet. That he has no business being ahead of. And he's behind guys that should be nowhere near this list in total, let alone 15th. I can't even appreciate the rest of this list. Busquets at 17th. Again, don't have an issue with that really. Should be higher. What, Puyol is greater than Busquets. Puyol is more important to those Barca and Spain teams than Busquets. Puyol had more success than Busquets. That's what we're saying here. Greater player in the hierarchy of greatest talents of the 21st century. He's greater than Busquets. No way, man. No way. Next up, who do they got? Lewandowski at 18th. Lewandowski is a greater player than Neymar Suarez. Fucking hell, man. Again, I have to stress, it's not that Lewandowski's 18th. He's one of the greatest goal scorers of the 21st century. He should have won a Ballon d'Or. He's just not better than these guys, though, chat. There's nothing that Suarez has over Lewandowski has over Suarez. There isn't a single thing that Lewandowski has over Suarez to put him on this list. He's got nothing. Let me say this again. Hold on. You're very correct here. For the purpose of preserving relationships and interest in future endeavors, let me be very clear here. Lewandowski is a great guy, a great goal scorer, a great advocate for his community in Poland. He's done brilliant things around the footballing world. Amazing goal scorer, amazing father. What the hell are we doing here, chat? How is Lewandowski ahead of Suarez, man? Come on! He's not better than him. It's as simple as that. Let's hear you apologize to Puyol. Hell no! That's the worst inclusion in this list. We haven't even mentioned Pirlo. I don't expect these clowns to know who Pirlo is, bro. If Pirlo makes the top 25, I'll be surprised. That's not... Pirlo, I lost hope in Pirlo a while ago, bro. 19th. Please, just put me out of my misery. Show me Neymar. Kaká's not better than Neymar. We don't really believe this, right? Is this really how far Neymar has fallen in the public eye? In the media's perception, that is he even in the top 20? Is Neymar even in the, did Neymar make the list? What the hell is going on here? Yo, no disrespect to Kaká. If you guys didn't know, I actually met him. I commented over his goal. Not many people can say that. But Kaká's not better than Neymar. Kaká's an amazing player, one of the greatest of this generation, but he's not better than Neymar. This is starting to make me sick, honestly. They pressed shuffle after Messi and Ronaldo. I'm starting to think they did. How is Kaká better than Neymar without mentioning the Ballon d'Or? Without mentioning the Ballon d'Or, what makes Kaká a better player, or what makes him have a better resume than Neymar? He's not as good a playmaker as Neymar. He's not as good a goal scorer as Neymar. He's not as good a creator as Neymar. He's not as good a 1v1 player as Neymar. What is Kaká better than a Neymar? He's a better athlete. He's not more fun to watch. He's not easier on the eye. He doesn't have more goals for Brazil. Are we gonna mention the World Cup where he played 20 minutes against Costa Rica? He has a Ballon d'Or winning season over Neymar. No, he has a Ballon d'Or over Neymar. Ballon d'Or winning seasons depends as well on your competition. Vinicius is about to have a Ballon d'Or winning season over Neymar too. Should we put Vinicius on this list after next year? These guys make me sick. Neymar just made the top 20. Neymar just made the top 20. I'm sorry, chat. This is an absolute fucking disgrace. Excuse my language. I've tried so hard. You know, I actually make it a point to like really try not to swear on these. Like I watch them back sometimes like, don't say bro as much, don't swear. Like it's something I can't help it. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Neymar is in the eyes of ESPN's experts, Neymar is the 20th greatest player of the 21st century. This is where you see now agenda and slander and a media witch hunt has completely destroyed the reputation of Neymar in the eyes of the media. And it's why for me, I'll never stop saying it until the day I die or until somebody comes through and proves me otherwise. He's the most disrespected and misunderstood superstar athlete that I've ever seen in my life. I'll say it again. The most disrespected and misunderstood athlete I have ever seen in my life. And if you need any more evidence as to why, it's this. This is despicable, bro. Read what they said. The boy Prince has never quite grown into the king of the game. Who the hell has grown into the king of the game out of this list? Did Puyol grow into the king of the game? When the hell did Puyol grow into the king of the game? The World Player of the Year award, always seen as an objective, has proved elusive, and he has yet to win a major title of his country. Never won a trophy of his country. Never won Player of the Year. Never won Player of the Year. Never won of his country. Never won Player of the Year. Never won Player of the Year. Never won Player of the Year. Never won Player of the Year or one of his country. Never won Player of the Year or one of his country. Why do we hold Neymar to these insane standards? Which, fair enough, his talent warrants those standards being held against him because he is one of the top 5, 6 greatest talents maybe ever to touch a football. Even his biggest critics would have a hard time disagreeing with that. You hold these standards against him, but that's fine when you're comparing Neymar to Ronaldo or to Messi or to R9 or to Dino. But you're not holding him to the same standards that you're holding Lewandowski, that you're holding Kroos, that you're holding Benzema, that you're holding Puyol. You're not holding him to those same standards as them. You're asking Neymar to be something so elite, which fair enough, his talent says he should have been. But you're not holding the rest of these guys to the same level. And this is why comparison is the thief of joy, honestly. Because Neymar didn't accomplish what your expectations thought he should, it means that you are now incapable of appreciating still what he brought you to the game. Neymar, it's held against him so much that he never won the Ballon d'Or or never won the Champions League with PSG that it completely stops people from actually appreciating what he did do in the game. It actually makes people forget everything else he did in the game just because he didn't reach exactly what they wanted. So basically, because he didn't win the Ballon d'Or and he didn't win the Champions League with PSG, nothing else he did matters. And I think that's the biggest travesty in football. Honestly. And it's a player that I'm telling you, it's going to take 5 to 10 years of Neymar being retired and the sport continuing to go in the direction it does for people to finally understand the level of player and the level of talent we had on our hands. That's the only way people will finally understand what we were dealing with Neymar. The last of his kind, a real entertainer, a real showman, a creative genius. This is me acting like he's like a streets won't forget player. He's one of the most impactful footballers to touch a ball in the 21st century. You look at Man of the Match awards. You look at goals and assists in Champions League. The top scorer for his country. The goals he scored for Barcelona. The contributions he had to major trophies. The runs that he was a huge part of in getting his team far into competitions. The actual football that he played. Forget about even the stats and the trophies. How good he was at the game. And this is what he gets rewarded with. Putting him under players that, with all due respect, have no business being even in the same conversation as Neymar. They have no business being in the same conversation as him. Mbappe is 14 places above Neymar. 14 places. We watched them together at PSG. Bar the end when Neymar's injury started flaring up and Mbappe slowly began growing into a monster of a player. Before that, it was Neymar who was the guy at PSG. And even at a point, it was like, okay, it's Neymar and Mbappe. It was only until, let's say, I would say 2021 maybe, that Mbappe really started taking course for action. He started becoming the guy. And it was also helped by the fact that Neymar's injuries became more and more repetitive and more taxing on his body. But enough to warrant Mbappe being 14 places above Neymar. That's sad for me, honestly. That's sad. I don't even think Mbappe would agree that he's 14 places above Neymar. 14. This for me is the biggest travesty, honestly. Shame on you guys, ESPN. And shame on every other media establishment. Shame on every single fan who's continuously just repeated this tired and false rhetoric that all Neymar is a showman that dives and exaggerates and he never passes the ball. He's a ball hog. It's all about himself. He's not interested in winning. He chases the money. Shame on every single one of you guys that have basically turned what was a nasty, made-up myth, a rhetoric, into what is now considered like overarching footballing fact. Shame on every single one of you guys because you have completely helped in tarnishing how a player like this should actually be remembered. This is a disgrace. To put him at 20th is an absolute disgrace. He underachieved due to his talent, perhaps, Anto, but he didn't underachieve, again, when you're going pound for pound with other players. He didn't underachieve. Kaká's career is not better than Neymar's career because that Ballon d'Or season, he was awarded with a Ballon d'Or and Neymar was playing with Messi and Ronaldo. I'm sorry, Kaká's career is not better than Neymar's career from start to finish. It's not. Suarez still hasn't been mentioned. Honorable mentions, just missed the list. 21, Pirlo. I'm actually, you know what? Wow, I'm shocked. Wow. Pirlo actually made consideration. That's the most impressive part of this list. Pirlo is, 8 places behind Toni Kroos. Again, I'd love to know what puts Toni Kroos 8 positions above Andrea Pirlo. Why is Andrea Pirlo rated this low? But he's underrated. I'm surprised he even made the list. Wayne Rooney, 22nd. But Puyol got put in 15th. Patrick Vieira, 23rd. Hey, we finally got there. Luis Suarez is 24th. 24th. A player with a knack for scoring goals. Wow, he's got a knack for scoring goals, guys. That makes him sound like he's like Darren Bent. A player with a knack for scoring goals. You literally just made Luis Suarez sound like Soldado. He's got a knack for scoring goals. No shit. No kidding. Suarez has a knack for scoring goals. Kevin De Bruyne has a knack for passing. Sergio Ramos has a knack for defending. Go to hell, man. Honestly, go to hell. Suarez found the net whenever he went. Whether that was Ajax, Liverpool, Barca, or Atletico Madrid, making one of the most fearsome strikers in the world during his heyday. It made him the most fearsome striker in his heyday. A disgrace. Suarez at 24th is a disgrace. Wow. And then Buffon at 25th, the only goalkeeper to make the list. 28-year career, arguably the greatest player at his position. I don't even have like the heart to even like care about this. Like Neymar and Suarez have been literally like ESPN looked at them and then just spit at their feet. That's what ESPN did to Neymar and Suarez. They didn't even give Suarez a picture. Aren't ESPN? But ESPN are a sporting network. They're not. I mean, obviously, like football is not their main thing, but they hire football journalists, right? They didn't have Stephen A. write this. Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp didn't write this list. Like football journalists wrote it. Wow, man. Wow.